Hey, Commissar, I got a question for you.
For the last time, I'm not going out with you.
No, it's not about that. It's about the new gal.
Do you mean the female Astartes? Here I am in all my glorious wonder. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. I would teach you, but I have to charge.
According to my sensors, there are no chocolate beverages in this vicinity. I detect heresy.
I'm the Emperor.
All right, we're going to be responding to comments, but before I do that, some quick updates. We got some doozies today. I don't quite have articulation back in my hand, so I can't really paint. I tried painting a little bit, but I don't know if you can see that. It's I'm not getting great results, so I thought this video, I'm putting together a bunch of models that I had in boxes. This is a 3D print of a knight, Imperial Knight that I'm putting together. This is a 3D print female Astartes. She had bolters or lightning claws. Now, obviously, this is an artist rendition of it. I have a bunch of these. I thought they just looked cool. So there you go, female Astartes. Would I run this on a tabletop? I don't know. I don't know if they would let me, but they look. I mean, that's pretty cool looking. But you can see, like, if you look at her, she's got power armor and hydraulics, and she's got the jetpack and the lightning claws. But like, if you stick with the lore, we're talking lore here, you know, like not whether or not you should or shouldn't, but I mean, they're just built different. You know, like how would you take the gene seed of the Emperor and put it in a woman? Would she look like that? If female Space Marines looked like this, you'd have a bunch of men that would be all over these. And you know what they would be called them? The Sisters of Battle. That's what they are. They're females that are wearing power armor. They look just like Space Marines, only they're women. And they called them something different. Oh no. Oh, whatever. It's gotta be the same. It's gotta be, gotta have women in men's spaces and vice versa. And it's like, yeah. But anyway, so because I couldn't paint, I just built a bunch of models, and I had a hard time doing that. I put together a model of a Grey Knight Terminator, and I glued the leg parts in backwards, and when I tried to start pulling them apart, because my hand doesn't work, I broke it. So because I have so many models, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a diorama and paint that Terminator up and just have him like destroyed on the ground, and then have like another Imperial Knight or a Terminator standing over him, and I'll have like parts of his arms and his claw and all that. I think it'll look pretty cool. So no model goes to waste. We're doing some kit bashing, and I took the extra parts off of that one and put them on this guy to make him look a little cooler. So this is two kits in one. For all of you that can't afford or don't want to support Games Workshop because their models are super expensive, if you go onto Etsy or eBay, there's a ton of 3D artists that will sell custom model kits of pretty much anything you can imagine. If you type it in search, they probably have it. They've got the Primarchs, and they're all slightly different than Games Workshop because they can't be a one-to-one. So often they're a lot more detailed. I mean, check this guy out. This guy is obviously he's not the same as the Games Workshop one, but there's some outstanding details in this model. And I think once he's painted up, he's going to look really cool. You know, I don't know what it does for the tabletop game. I don't know the rules when it comes to proxy models. But most of them are close enough where it's obvious what it is. So if you play what you see is what you get, like a lot of us do, I don't see a reason why you can't table some of these. And if you're just more into like painting figurines like I am, that's my favorite part of the hobby. I mean, that's cool too, because they make great display pieces, and they're so much cheaper. An Imperial Knight, right now, if you go to Games Workshop, it costs you $170. This was $25. You know what I mean? So it's on the cheap. The only thing is they're kind of fragile. You got to be careful with some of them. It depends on the quality of the resin. You sort of get what you pay for. But the cool thing is you can establish relationship with the artists that do them. So once you have established that, sometimes they'll send me free stuff. You know, we communicate regularly, and I show them what I've painted, and they display it on their pages. Sometimes, depending on the quality, you know, it's kind of cool. You can actually get to know people that way, and you can formulate relationships. And there's some advantages to be taken there if you're into that sort of thing. But anyway, let's get on with the video. All right, the very first comment I clicked on when I got home from work, opened up my laptop, and it's a two-parter. In response to the video I made about Donald Trump and the assassination attempt, Torpus Rainflight. God damn it, I need glasses. Torpus Rainflight 101. I clicked the like button and your video cut off. So I came straight back and clicked it again. I think, quote unquote, they're watching you. I don't know. Since I did the Trump videos, some weird stuff's been happening, and we'll get into that. Trump is a legend, a true icon. I'm English and not American, and I say you guys are lucky to have him. Definitely an inside job. I'm starting weight training too now after watching your stuff. My current job has got me into decent shape, so I thought I'd carry it on. I also paint miniatures. All three. Well, man. All right. Have you thought about making videos for beginners at lifting? Like where to start and so on. Might be a whole new audience there. Okay, so let's break this down. First, am I being shadow banned? Is there anything weird going on? Yeah, I can't see some of my own comments that I made. It's very strange. I also noticed that the video didn't do, like, look, I'm a small channel. I don't get a lot of traffic. But every once in a while, if I do a video that's about something that's in popular parlance, like with the Warhammer female custodies, that got a couple thousand views. There was that blockade that happened in the desert on the way to Burning Man. That was in the news. That got a couple thousand views. Usually if I touch on topics that are in the news or people are talking about them, I generally expect to see more traffic than I normally get. And this video, only as of now, is at let me take a look here. Let me take a look at YouTube. Sorry, it's taking a second. 79 views. 79. And I put it out yesterday. That's weird. I mean, normally, like, I expect to see way more, especially when I have all of my SEO stuff done. I got all the keywords and tags and whatnot. So I don't know. That, and can't see my comments, so there's that. It's just really weird stuff. And I watched the video a couple times. I always watch my own videos. My wife thinks I'm a narcissist. She's like, "Why are you watching yourself on TV?" Well, I kind of want to see where I'm, doing and things like that, and see where I can improve, that kind of thing. Trying to, get more fluidity so that I'm more entertaining. Because I know as soon as you have a long pause, like I just had when I was looking that video up, people are clicking off already because they don't have attention spans. So that's the little things I try to improve. Now, the second part, Trump being an icon, lucky to have him. I am a Trump supporter. I'll state that. I voted for him the second election. He didn't win. He won me over. People, I don't understand the hate for this man. Like, I consume news across all forms of everything from Reddit to YouTube to like Timcast to the legacy media like CNN, MSNBC, Fox. Twitter. You get a lot of people get news on Twitter, Facebook. Like, I get stories from across the board in a bunch of different places, and places where you expect to see rhetoric, and places where you expect to see, even-keeled bipartisan coverage. And it's like, I don't know, everybody's got their own spin, and I appreciate it when people are upfront about their bias. Everybody's got a political bias. I lean conservative, obviously. I'm a Marine. I'm a veteran. I've got kids. I support the Second Amendment. I fought for this country. I'll fight for it again. I guess you could say, red-blooded patriot. What I liked about Trump is I would say he's as corrupt as any other person in power, but he was always kind of open about it. Like when he did his real estate dealings, he said exactly what he was doing and why he was doing it. Now, you flip that to like what Obama and Clinton and all those, like especially Hillary, you know, all the stuff that they were doing that they got caught doing, emails, you know, all the things that they should have been brought up on federal charges for or impeached, you know, Biden with the Ukraine deals, which were on video. I don't understand how they put that video out where he was making the deal, where he was going to withhold funds if they didn't go after that prosecutor. And how that was, he wasn't brought up on charges for that. He joked about it on video, and nobody said a word because the people wanted to put Democrats in power, and they could do whatever they want, say whatever they want. And the fact that they're mobilizing, you know, unconstitutional branches of the government, like the FBI, the CIA, the ATF, whatever alphabet agency, they're using those and targeting people that are not in their party or whatever, or against them. And then they come out on and lie about it, you know, straight to our faces, and we don't say or do anything. We complain about it on Twitter. That's what we do. Now, Trump, they're just going after him hard, and they're going after him for common practices with real estate. I mean, how many lawyers, how many real estate people that do business in New York came out and say that what he was doing was normal, everyday practice, and then by them setting the precedent of him, what he's doing is being illegal, is going to change the way they do real estate practices across the board. The bank he was doing business with even said they had their own appraiser and that he did nothing wrong and they'd be happy to do business with him again. So, you know, they're attesting that he was trying to rip off financial institutions, and the very financial institutions that he was trying to rip off came out and said that they were completely fine with the business dealings. But none of that was admissible. You had a judge that was obviously biased. You know, he had huge conflict of interest, and he should have been disbarred. I mean, the whole thing is just grossly unconstitutional. And me as a patriot, somebody that's supposedly defending the rights and freedoms of this country, watched this whole thing unfold. And I watched one half of the country cheer, get him, just get him. And the other half is like, how is this legal? And what the one half that's cheering just doesn't seem to get through their heads is when they set these precedences and allow these gross injustices to handle, when their people are in that position and the other parties in charge, because the pendulum always swings both ways, you have now set the precedent for the same thing to happen to the people that you support. Which is why, even if they were going after people I don't like Joe Biden, even if they were going directly after him the way they went after Trump, I would be against it, because it hurts our freedom as a whole. It hurts us every time we set a precedent for being able for one of these agencies to just be able to bust your door down and take you out with a blindfold or a hood over your head just because it's somebody you don't like and you think they finally got him. No, that's bad, because now they can do that to anyone they want, including you and me. What are they going to do? What are you going to do when your opinion's not popular and they come to kick your door down because you posted something on Facebook that somebody doesn't like? The whole idea of cancel culture goes against the very foundation of this country, which is, you know, guilty, innocent until proven guilty due process. That's what we're founded on. And you guys are cheering as they break that, and it just breaks my heart. It breaks my heart as a veteran to see us cheering for gross injustices and mishandling of our written law. You know, the very founding of our country. It just, it makes me so angry. I don't want to see it to happen to any party. I don't care if you came out and said you were a communist. The whole point of debate, the whole reason we have discourse, is so that bad ideas can be put out into the public, and we can decide if they're good or bad by speaking back against it. You present me, like, say you're, I don't know, a National Socialist, and you come out with your National Socialist ideas, i.e. Hitler, Nazi, whatever. What's going to happen? The rest of us are going to say how stupid and vile that is, and we're going to hammer you down until your ideas are no longer taken seriously. But by banning these things, by hiding them from the public view, by protecting us from the evil and making the speech technically illegal, essentially it's censorship, we now fuel those groups, and we're we're creating activists, because they are being silenced, and now they're going to start organizing and fighting back against that, as they should, because it is one of the founding principles of this country. So we're creating the very activism that we're trying to stifle by you guys making it open season on white people and talking about white supremacy and like labeling us all as racist and whatever. You're creating the very hate groups that you're trying to stifle. Why? Because you're constantly attacking people for things that they had nothing to do with. I take no responsibility for anything my forefathers did. Why? Because I wasn't here. I don't know the first thing about it. As a matter of fact, if I recall correctly, my grandparents came over right after World War II. They immigrated from Liverpool, England. So our family lineage wasn't even on this country when these supposed oppression happened 400 years ago, whatever. We had nothing to do with it, and we're not going to take any responsibility for it. And if you try to pin it on us, I'm going to laugh at you and tell you you're stupid. And rightfully so. You don't fight racism with racism. It's racism, period. Oh, man, I'm ranting. Freedom isn't free. No, there's a hefty fucking fee. And if you don't pay your $1.05, who will? Man, all right, I'm still on the same comment. I was getting a little off script on that one. My bad. You hear me talking about. I'm really passionate about our rights and responsibilities. We have responsibilities, people. It starts with us getting involved, usually at the local levels. The president can send the FBI after you to knock your door down and raid your house. But it's the guys that live in the same neighborhoods you do that put on those uniforms that are going to kick your door down. So where do you think you can affect the most good? Is it by rioting and burning down stuff and demanding change? Or by, I don't know, attending your local meetings with your congressmen and the people that represent your districts, where you can go and speak to them directly and maybe enact change that way? Who knows? Even get involved, volunteer at a local level. Get involved. Absolutely. The more we get involved in our communities and the more we participate and get to know our neighbors and the goings around that happen day to day, I say hi to my mailman every morning. I talk to the policemen. I talk to the firemen. I know all the construction workers. We've talked to our congressperson. We talk to the school board. We talk to everybody. We get involved. We let our opinions be known. And some changes have been made. As a matter of fact, my wife contacted our district representative, and we live right across the street from a school, and they were speeding. And she complained, and I'll be darned, the next day she had police officers here watching people. You know how I know? Because I got pulled over. I came around the corner a little hot. I was doing maybe 25 miles an hour, and it's 15. And I didn't think I was going that fast, and there was nobody around. Cop pulled me over, and when he saw my address, he laughed. I said, "What's so funny?" He goes, "Your wife is the reason why we're down here." Her brother works for Metro, so they probably know us. And I was just like, he's like, "You're the one that did this." And he knew about the ticket too. When we got together for dinner that weekend, he just looked at me and he was shaking his head, and I knew exactly what that was about. Oh, so I digress. The second part, you're talking about you started weight training, and that's awesome. You want to stick with it. So your job is getting you into shape, is what you're. If I'm reading this correctly, correct me if I'm wrong. And you thought you'd carry on. Have I thought about making videos for beginners at lifting? I have a couple of good resources I like to point people towards. There's a couple of content creators that I really like. Profit Fear, if you want to learn technical lifting and you want to learn how to lift correctly, tempo, form, how you're going to get real hypertrophy as a natural, not enhanced, but as a natural. He's a good source. If you want to go with famous people, I recommend Renaissance Periodization, Dr. Mike Israetel, absolutely. I like Jeff Nifford, but he's a little pedantic, and he's a little sanctimonious. He's a little too natty, it's like, but he's a wealth of good information, and I like to point people there. And then, of course, Runner Boy. Now, Runner Boy is a little controversial because he can be a bit of an ass sometimes. He says some comments that are like, ugh. But his form's impeccable. And if you want to learn how to squat deadlift or bench and you're a beginner, I love his videos. But the answer is yes. So I have a couple of playlists. So if you look at my physical therapy playlist, if you look at my competition training, you go back. I used to make videos that were kind of how-to when I first started. They were a little long and windy for my taste, and I was still learning how to make videos. So they're kind of like they're a slug to get through. But what I think I'm going to start doing is I'm going to be breaking down my lifts kindergarten style. So for those of you that want to know how I perform the lifts, I don't have any kind of paid services or Patreon, or I'm not asking for money. I don't consider myself a trainer. I am a certified USPA strength coach. So as far as like technique goes, I'm probably one of the better coaches in the country, and I will put my money, I'll put that up against anybody who wants to challenge me on that. But I'm not a trainer. I'm not a guy that programs. An excellent source for correcting form issues, and I could definitely help you with that. I might even be able to do video calls with you so we can take a look at what your lifts look like. You can always send me videos and I can break them down. I would even be happy to break down lifts on YouTube. If you guys want to start sending me your lifts, I will critique them on video. And we could maybe, if you're open to me being sarcastic and humorous, maybe we could have a good laugh about it. I post all my bad stuff too, so I post myself almost dying. I pinned myself on the bench press. I've done, oh man, I've bombed some lifts, and I usually put them on YouTube. To do the how-to videos, they do take a little more effort and a little more time, but that's something. It's like I'm doing the lifts anyways, so I might as well describe them, and I don't have a problem with that. I think that would be a lot of fun. Maybe I could even start a new playlist, like Lifting 101 or something. So I guess short story long, yes, the answer is yes. I'll start doing that specifically for you and anybody else that's interested. And finish up with I also paint miniatures. That's awesome. Dude, this is the coolest thing about this channel. Ever since I started doing the Warhammer stuff, I really thought I was going to lose a ton of subscribers, because I was like, yeah, the guys that watch me, they don't want to see this crap. But I've opened myself up to a completely new demographic, and nerds with muscles. We paint Warhammer, we play tabletop games, we're into video games, we're into nerd culture, sci-fi, whatever, and we work out. Who knew? So I'm going to keep rolling with that for sure. And as you can see, I'm, building stuff in this video. God, I want to be able to paint, but I just still can't hold a paintbrush. Incidentally, whenever I'm doing these videos, I have to turn off my swamp cooler and my little AC unit so that you can hear and it doesn't pick up the air. And it gets super hot in this garage really, really fast. So it's already up to 100 degrees. So what I'll do is I'll record a segment, and then I'll hit pause, turn both of them on, and just sit in the cold for a minute, and then turn them off and continue this video. All right, next comment. Nikki Benjamin 7629, quote, "I don't know how you'd miss." That's me. I mean, okay, all kidding aside, I have to express reverence for the fact that the gentleman, the firefighter who died shielding his family from bullets, I can't stress enough, like, just how much my condolences. Like, that is a tragedy, and that man is a hero, and he lived a hero's life. I've tried to dig up information on him, and everything I found out, look, the letter from his daughter says it all. He was a stand-up guy that cared a lot about his family. He's what I'm aspiring to be as a dad. I want to be remembered as a family man who cared about his family and took care of them. And I'd like to think that if the situation were to arise, I see myself as more of the type that wouldn't necessarily shield them from bullets, but would engage the enemy. I'd go after the danger. But yeah, I mean, what can you do in that situation? And he acted. And he put the thought of other people before himself, and that is, in the end, service to others is the highest calling, and he's totally selfless. But if we can put that aside, and with the reverence that it deserves, Yeah, how the fuck do you miss at 130 meters? My son has consistently 10 out of 10 made shots with an AR rifle that he can't even hold. He had to brace it up on something. I have video of him in my catalog under either Training with My Family or Warrior stuff. There's video of my son shooting an AR rifle, and he was pegging at 100 yards. He was hitting bullseyes. And he, I think in that, was 8 years old. With my shotgun, with slugs, I think I have a smoothbore too, so it's not even rifled. That will consistently hit center mass at 130 with slugs. You don't even need optics at 130. You can use iron sights. And he missed all of them. Like, he's the worst shot in history. Like, you are the worst fucking sniper. You deserved everything that happened to you. I wish they wouldn't have killed him so that we could talk to this guy. But I thought it was really, really convenient that, like, minutes after it happened, they found somebody that he went to school with, and they painted him as a loner. Who's, of course he needed to be a loner. Now they eliminated him, and he's going to be, they're going to come at it from the spin of that he was the lone gunman and all that. But I'm watching all these videos that are calling out these huge conspiracies. Now, I thought that there was, it was a setup for sure. But I mean, I saw a video this morning that implicated Iran in it. It's like Blackwater. This kid, I guess, did commercials with Blackwater. I mean, it is bizarre if any of this stuff is true. Like, how deep down the rabbit hole does this one go? I mean, I thought I was tinfoil hat for saying it was. I thought I was crazy for thinking, well, this is obviously a setup. How does the Secret Service miss this? The Secret Service of the United States is supposed to be the high watermark standard to which security forces are held to. Me as a pogue, artillery Marine. Now, raise your hand, Marines, veterans. Pick a Navy, Army, Air Force. Any of you guys. Did you ever do Firewatch? Where you guarded the barracks. Did you ever do Armory Guard? Did you ever do Area React Team? Like where they take a bunch of people and they for a couple weeks out of the year, you have to go live, and they rotate the Marines in and out. And if something were to happen in your area, say terrorist attack or somebody tried to rob the armory, whatever, someone breaks on the base and tries to steal a tank, they call the React Force. So it's like the lowest tier of security forces. And then you actually have security force MOSs, and these guys get specialty training, special forces level training. Like these guys, the higher you go, up to like 8th and I, the Presidential Guard, those guys are they have training that's on par with like the best of Delta Force and Navy SEALs for what they specifically do. These guys are veterans. They know their shit. And then you got above that, you get into like, do you even consider private sector? Personal security details, all that kind of thing, going all the way up to the Secret Service. And then you find out the organizational rot that's taken place. And if you look back to when they appointed the director of the Secret Service, and she wanted to implement DEI. So I'm saying DEI for the Secret Service, for Christ's sake, but it's all on video. You can watch the congressional hearings when they were appointing her. And, she said that she wanted to increase diversity, 30% women by 2030, which means you have to lower the standards. Now, the presidential guard that, like, Biden has, like the president himself, he has the best of the best. Those guys have their shit together. But the lower you go, you don't have the A. President Trump does not have the A team, obviously, because those guys look like they were barely trained. They're barely competent. You can't even holster your weapon. My fucking 9-year-old can do that. Holy crap. Now, I understand it's a stressful situation. You're probably thinking, oh, I'm on camera. Everyone in the world can see me. And I can forgive little hiccups. But we're talking the Secret Service. You're the best of the best. This is something that you should have done so many times. You don't even have to think about it. The fact that she had to look at her holster and holster it means it's something that she hadn't had ingrained into her muscle memory. And she hadn't practiced that much, which means that, she's fucking amateur hour over there. And you could say, well, what's that? What's the big deal about a holster? It's the Secret Service. We're not talking about Whacking Hut security over at Walmart. You're a member of the Secret Service. You shouldn't even be able to say that unless you're the best of the best, the absolute best of the best. Think of all the top tier security people in the world, guys that you wouldn't mess with, guys that guard celebrities, you know, guys that you see on the strip of Vegas that are escorting billionaires, and you're thinking, wow, I wouldn't mess with those guys. Above them should be the Secret Service. That should be the gold standard to which all others are measured. And would you say in that video that that's what Trump had? The simple fact is when they huddled him, and some of them were hiding behind him, for Christ's sake, the people that responded that looked professional, those were local law enforcement and contractors. And those guys looked like they knew what they were doing. Again, I question, how the fuck was that guy even able to get on that roof? And I watched all the videos, and they were talking about up to 100 yards was Secret Service, and that building was beyond the fence, which meant it belonged to local law enforcement. Okay, they're not talking to each other. Like, I know. I watched a couple other videos where Trump had his organization had asked for more security, and he was denied. Luckily they got that. They got receipts for that. It's all an email, so that's all going to come out. Look, never attribute to malice that which what you can attribute to stupidity. But at a certain point, you are so bad that it's malice. The fact that you would even put those people in place means that there's inadvertently a malicious intent. And this whole, like, look, I don't care if his entire team was female. If they met the standards, I'm fine with it. But they clearly, I don't think the men met the standards. Your job's a bullet shield, and you're not even as tall as the guy. Oh, Lord of mercy. And he goes on to say, we've got some twisted logic in this country. I have zero respect or feelings for any television personality anymore, or entertainers like Jack Black and Eminem. They have no idea what the real world is like, and these people live in fantasy land. Eminem, once upon a time, he grew up, and he had it hard, man. He lived in poverty, grew up on 8 Mile, if you believe the movies. Look, I know he had a rough life, and he sings to that. Like, he speaks to those things that affected him as a person. I would go to him and ask him about questions about living in poverty, or living, you know, in racism, or division, or rich versus poor, or whatever. And, you know, that's the kind of things that he rails against a lot, you know. But then what tends to happen is these people get rich, and they get a circle of yes men around them, and they get all sorts of crazy ideas in their head, and they have people that are constantly telling them how great they are, and they get to thinking that they're the moral arbiters of the rest of us peons who don't know anything about life, and we need these celebrities to tell us how to live. You know, they're sanctimonious, they're annoying, and I think they're starting to get it. Like, just because you're famous, and just because you're on a camera, and just because you have a lot of people following you around telling you how awesome you are, does not make you the authority on how the rest of us should live. And as a matter of fact, usually the more famous you get, the more detached from reality you get. So keep your opinions to yourself. Like, honestly, like, I have no respect for celebrities whatsoever. You know, when it comes to them telling us how we should live, you can go fuck yourself. Because I worked my ass off, and I built myself a happy little home with a happy family, and I'm perfectly content with the way I'm living, and I certainly don't need you to tell me that, you know, it's immoral to drive a Mustang, and that I need to get a battery operated piece of crap, even though you know, the mine that makes the battery hires like an army of child slave labor. It's like, you don't see the, you know, the rape of the earth to create these products that you think that we should replace it on, and meanwhile you're flying around in your private jets, and, you know, eating at the finest restaurants, and wearing the nicest clothes, and yet you're going to tell the rest of us plebeians how to live. Go away. You know what? I don't know. It's like I don't respect the opinions of celebrities at all, especially when they get on the microphone and sanctimoniously tell the rest of us how we need to change our lives. It's like, go away. You know nothing. I don't know what to say. You know, there seems to be a market these days for realism. People want to see realism. They want to connect. They want to, you know, the people that they look up to, the people that they interact with, the people that they want to learn with. They want to see that these people are genuine. I don't know how to do it any better than what I'm doing, but I'm trying to present myself as what you see is what you get, essentially. And it seems to be working. I don't know. I think I'm a really, really, really good. I think I'm an elite level lifter. I'm pretty good at just about everything I do. I'm a talented artist. I'm a dad. I work commercial construction. I know a lot about engineering. I know a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff, but I'm also a dumbass who makes a lot of mistakes. And it's just like, I present you all of it. You get to see the good and the bad. Because the cool thing is I like a good laugh. And if you look underneath to see how the sausage is made, there's a lot of comedy underneath it. And that's something we can all relate to. Oh, this video, what is it? What are we at? 33 minutes? All right. I got to get to... Oh, no, I'm going to go boxing with my daughter. So I'll try to get video. Not sure if I'm going to be able to, but we'll see. All right. I love you guys. We'll see you on the battlefield. Leave some comments. Give me some ammo.